Yeah, I'm Jaime Pham. I'm a content marketing evangelist for LinkedIn Marketing Solutions based in London. I'm working with basically half of our EMEA sales teams and clients and customers on how to get the best engagement out of the LinkedIn platform.
Amazing.
Yeah.
So you've just been on stage.
Yeah.
Can you give us a brief summary of what you've been talking about?
All right, so what I talked about today in the conference was bringing employees into your content strategy and 3 different ways to do that. So employee advocacy, or getting your employees to share content both about the company but also just about their own passions and making sure your employees are really visible. Employee generated content, so actually tapping into the expertise, the passion and the knowledge of your employees and bringing that into your content mix. And then employee featured content, which is kind of just showcasing your employees in your images and your videos, and actually using real people instead of stock photography or stock images, and the power that can have too.
Awesome. And then let's dig a bit more into that, because you were also saying that it was maybe something that a lot of marketers don't know, because we basically talk as brands normally when we post something in social media, etc. You were talking about how employees have a bigger influence than the actual brand. Yeah. Can you elaborate a bit on that?
Sure. So one of the things that I've noticed in looking at the data and what gets the best engagement is that most of the engagement that happens on social media is from individuals, right? You can do sponsored posts and you can get people to follow your page, but most of a news feed, whether it's an Instagram feed, a LinkedIn feed, whatever it may be, is still filled with people. And so if all you're ever doing is communicating as a logo, you're missing the vast majority of engagement that actually happens on social media. So we talk a lot about influencer marketing, and Lee did a great job of talking about his area of expertise, but we don't talk a lot about employees as influencers and the fact that you hire people who have a certain amount of expertise and hopefully a certain amount of passion about their topic, and that can be a really powerful source of influence to tap into, and that's a way of tapping into the actual human experience of social media from an individual perspective instead of just as a logo. Yeah, kind of fulfilling the equation, basically. Yeah.
So going a bit back also to what you're passionate about right now.
Yeah.
What is it that takes up your headspace in your role at LinkedIn?
So what I spend most of my time thinking about is partially how to keep content marketing interesting for me, because I've only been talking about it for 4 years. A lot of the people on stage have been talking about it a lot longer. And Jason Miller and I joke sometimes, like, aren't we running out of things to talk about? So sometimes when we're asked to present, it's like, what's new or what's interesting to us so that it can stay fresh and we can stay passionate about it. But what I spend a lot of my time trying to do is to help marketers solve common challenges in ways that seem approachable and simple. When I walk into a company and I'm running a workshop, we may be uncovering 3, 4, 5 major challenges, and if we're not careful, it can feel really overwhelming for companies to actually get better and fix their challenges. So it's identifying challenges, inspiring them with examples of companies that are doing it well, and then bringing it home with, all right, here's how you can actually get started in a small way and then grow that success over time. So it's kind of simplifying the whole process, because there's a lot of noise around content marketing and it can feel really complicated and confusing, but really it isn't. There's a few basic fundamentals that you need to get right, and then you just need to stick with it. Yeah.
So how do you do that? How do you communicate that to the right audience and to make them understand the value behind it?
It depends on the company and where they're at and their level of sophistication. So sometimes I'm working with marketers who are doing really great content. They have a really great content machine behind them, but they're challenged with measurement and ROI. Or sometimes I'm working with marketers who still see content as Anne was talking about. We need a piece of content for this product, or we need a piece of content for this campaign, and it's getting them to understand that that's not really content marketing. That's just putting your message into content and blasting it out there, and that's still traditional marketing. So the message that we need to deliver and the mindset shift that we need to make happen just entirely depends on the organization and where they're at.
So what would be your advice then to marketers in order to measure and understand the ROI of those, like a piece of content?
Well, you need to understand what your goals are. I mean, it's basic marketing stuff. It's business goal, how marketing ties into that, and then what are the KPIs that you need? What are the success metrics that you need in order to be able to prove that that goal worked? And do you have the technology stack to make that happen? Like, that's kind of the last part of it, right? You'd be surprised how many companies I talk to where I ask what their goal is, and they said, well, we want to improve our engagement rate. Why? What's going to happen after that engagement? Are you trying to sell product? Are you trying to shift perception? Like, what is the actual marketing goal and the business goal that ties back to? And I just talked to an awful lot of agencies and marketers who aren't really thinking that way. So you have to start with the actual like end result to the business that you're hoping to achieve, and then you can work everything else out from there.
Awesome. What do you see? Like, you're working a lot with marketers, marketers like both from the brand side and also the agency side. What are the common challenges that these companies or brands have when it comes to content marketing?
Most common challenges with content marketing right now would be a lack of documented strategy, sometimes even a lack of strategy at all. Another big challenge is making sure that strategy is known. Like, sometimes the content strategy is put together by corporate and then it's not distributed out to the business units or the regions, and so people don't actually know about it, and so there's a disjointed approach. And then the third big challenge is actually kind of tied back to that. I work with a lot of global companies. Some are headquartered in the US with regions, and some are headquartered in Europe with regions. And there's kind of a constant shift from we're going to focus everything centralized and the regions will execute, or we're going to decentralize and give the regions more power. And then how do you maintain consistency and governance and some kind of like consistent dashboard of results across those regions? So for consistency, a lot of companies want to decentralize things around corporate and then distribute from there, but they found that that's not actually the most authentic way to engage your audience. You can't be a global brand operating almost entirely from one region. So there's now a decentralization happening of budgets and strategy and creative, but then that also results in a lack of visibility between the regions, and for the CMO, like a lack of real true understanding of how the company is doing and how the efforts are performing. So it's interesting.
Wow.
So it kind of does sound complicated, doesn't it?
It does sound complicated. It
Yeah.
sounds like a challenge.
Yeah.
So what would you say would be a solution for these challenges?
I've not seen a single solution, honestly. I think if you do start with business goal, marketing goal, strategy that ties back to that, and then you get everybody on the same page about what that looks like, that can help. It's easier for smaller teams than it is for bigger teams, right? LinkedIn Marketing Solutions content team globally is, I don't even know, I mean, it's probably fewer than 20 people in terms of the actual people who create and measure the actual content effort. So for us, it would be a little bit easier if you're thousands of marketers globally.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, like strategy, documentation, socialization, communication are all super key. And then everything else kind of has to happen from there. And then there's the whole technology stack on top of that, dashboards, and it gets a little crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
About the technology stack,
Yeah.
just to touch upon that one. Marketers have tons of different tools to automate, to personalize, to listen, social listening, etc. What do you think are the key tools that a marketer should have now in order to follow suit?
The most helpful tools that I've seen our marketing team and then the customers that I work with use are great insights and analytics. So understanding who you're reaching, like the actual personas behind it and the demographics and the firmographics behind it. If you know that 60,000 people downloaded your ebook, but you don't know who those people are, it's kind of useless information, right? So insights and analytics in terms of like downloads and landing page and all that stuff. Something really solid, some really solid stack of analytics with reliable data. There's a lot of really poorly inferred data out there right now. So the best quality data that you can actually get out of that system, the better your results are going to be. So insights and analytics would be number one. Nurturing would be number two. it's gone far beyond just email nurturing. That's now cookie-based, like retargeting, sequential messaging, LinkedIn's matched audiences are kind of designed to allow you to personalize messages based on where people are, homepage visits and homepage bouncers or customers or product page bouncers. So a lot more personalization and customization so that you can nurture people as they visit your website or engage with a salesperson or open an email and continue that conversation. Because we all know that it's not just a one-touch thing to get people to do business with you. So that nurture stream and the different ways that you can nurture people, like that technology is really, really helpful. And then, because I work a lot with B2B companies, it's whatever integrates into your CRM so that you can really start to understand the business results of your efforts, lifetime value of a customer. And it's kind of like the golden, the golden egg. People don't want to just understand how many leads did we get and what is the cost per lead. It's all about did that create opportunity and how much of a long-term benefit to the business did that create for us. So that CRM integration becomes really important too.
So definitely measure.
Measure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Measure, track.
Yeah.
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 It's for sure you need a lot of tools in order to do that at scale in order to.
Yeah. I mean, the least complicated stack would probably be like a dozen different products at this point. You know, it's pretty crazy. Yeah.
Any predictions on how content marketing is going to be in 3 to 5 years?
Oh, 3 to 5 years. Where are we at? 2017. Where were we at 3 years ago? 2014. I don't know. 2014, we started talking about content marketing pretty heavily, and people thought maybe this will just be a fad, but it seems to still be really, really important in the age of search and social and digital and customer empowerment, and I don't necessarily see that changing in the next few years. So hopefully, clients, customers, marketers start to see better results out of their investment because they have better strategy, better measurement, and a better understanding of their customers and prospects. Hopefully we just kind of improve over the next few years, and hopefully it gets a little less complicated. I mean, hopefully we start to see some consolidation in the tools. I don't think we will, because it's still a hot topic, and whenever something's a hot topic, people want to latch onto it. But I'd like to see some real like great players rise to the top and become like really solid partners in the content space and really reliable partners. Yeah.
When you say reliable partners, then you mean in the content space, meaning tool sets or
tool sets, agencies, strategists. Like there's so many, it's impossible to choose from. So it'd be really interesting to see is how that pool of opportunity both expands as new startups and new agencies and new tech players come in, but also which ones actually prove to hold their weight and to stick around for a while and become actual like solid players in this space, right? The Content Marketing Institute's been around for a really long time, and it's a trusted, reliable source of information on content marketing. So I'd imagine that there will be room for more technology companies and agencies and individuals to come into this space and continue to add value.
Awesome, thank you.
Yeah.
What do you think are the worst mistakes a business could make when they start with their content marketing?
The worst mistake that a company can make when they're getting started is to be in it for too short of a period of time. Occasionally, I'll still hear an agency say, gosh, my client wants to do a content marketing test for 3 months. Sorry about that. Good luck. That's the biggest mistake. Another big mistake, though, is sometimes when you get a big company with a big budget, they want to go really big for a short period of time and think that they can get some measurable data out of that. Some of the best success that I've seen, and I was talking to some of the other speakers about this, is when a company starts small and maybe even starts internal, improves the value, and then starts to build their program from there, right? So starting small, proving the value, and expanding from there can often be a more effective way to get buy-in for content and to get people rallied around the idea than trying to just massively do a big shift and say, okay, now we're going to do content marketing, and trying to get a massive organization wrapped around that. So you have to start somewhere, and you have to be in it for the long haul.
So not for the short term.
No 3 month test of content marketing. No, doesn't really work that way.
Why doesn't it work that way? That's also just nice to, I understand, but why doesn't it work to do a content marketing campaign?
Well, it doesn't work to do one content marketing campaign because great content marketing involves trust, and trust is consistency over time, and you can't build trust with one campaign. In order to become a trusted resource of information, you have to have some consistency, and you have to have recency, and I mean there's all kinds of factors. But if you just do a couple blog posts for a few months and you generate some traffic from it and you go away, you lose ranking, you lose visibility, you're no longer top of mind, you haven't built that trust. It's like building a relationship, right? You don't just walk into a cocktail party and ask somebody for their phone number right away. You have to prove that you're actually worth getting to know, and that takes a little bit of time. Content marketing is a lot kind of like building a relationship with an audience, and that takes effort.
Awesome. What are your favorite content marketing tools?
Oh, my favorite content marketing tools. Well, one of the most powerful things that I've started using recently is LinkedIn search on desktop, mobile too, but the desktop search experience is really interesting because we've started tagging articles with topics, we've started tracking hashtags, and there is now a posts search in the search bar. So if I go to linkedin.com on desktop and I type in skincare, and I go to posts, I can see a whole feed of people talking about skincare. So our content tagging has gotten a lot better, and our categorization has gotten a lot better. The building of interest feeds, so clicking on a topic like parenting and seeing a whole bunch of other articles on parenting has gotten a lot better. And so, one of the biggest questions that I get is, are people talking about this on LinkedIn? Or what's the conversation around cloud computing right now? And that's because it's a social media platform and it's a news feed. There's some evergreen stuff, but then there's a lot of news and trends. So doing an actual just live search and looking through the feed and doing some qualitative analysis is a really powerful way for me to get examples.
Awesome.
Yeah.
And you've also launched recently some new, what was the nice word? What's the name of the new tool that you launched like two days ago?
Was it the matched audiences?
Yes.
Matched audiences, yeah.
Is that something that you've already started to get a hold of, or is it too new to be able to?
Yeah, it's actually kind of a couple of years ago we acquired Bizzo and we launched LinkedIn Lead Accelerator, and that product had the ability to segment your website visitors and retarget them with sequential messaging. So that capability has been in our product portfolio, but from a separate piece of software perspective. The fact is now I feel like Matched Audiences is bringing some of that capability right into LinkedIn Campaign Manager, and it can be really powerful. I mean, how many marketers actually try to build a relationship with people who bounce off of their homepage, or craft a different message for homepage bouncers versus product page bouncers? I know there's no more funnel, but there certainly is a process that people go through. And if you can actually start to customize your content and your messages to where people are, how many interactions they've had with you, how deep they've gone into your website, to be able to create a segment of existing customers so that you can exclude them from your ad campaigns, or to create an existing set of existing customers so that you can actually message them with product updates and nurture them. There's some really powerful things to that. So I'm excited to see what companies do with it.
I love it. I'm gonna start using it. Do you have a secret content marketing technique in your arsenal that you want to share?
A secret content marketing technique in my arsenal. I'll just say the most powerful tool when I'm working with customers and when I'm working with marketers to get them thinking about their strategy is just a two-step combination of research and inspiration. People remember stories and examples, and some of the speakers today did a really great job of just, here's companies that are doing really interesting things, and those examples are really memorable. And then some people are really data-based, so they need the numbers and the facts. And I think if you're a marketer trying to get more budget, trying to prove the value of content marketing, you probably need a little bit of both, right? You need the qualitative, hey, we got some really great comments out of this, and then you also need the quantitative, this actually drove some engagement for us or some results. So a mix of research and inspiration is the best tool that I find engaging marketers, but I think that's also a really good approach to apply to a content strategy, right? A bit of fact a bit of story, a bit of humor, a bit of entertainment, a bit of inspiration, mixing it up can be just a really powerful way to make sure you're engaging with their audience in different ways.
Awesome. At LinkedIn, I know that you're not in that group, but in a separate group, but you work very closely with LinkedIn Marketing Solutions.
Yeah.
You do amazing content marketing yourself.
Thanks.
What is it that you think is interesting about what the content marketing that you do, and why do you do it?
Yeah, so what I find helpful about LinkedIn Marketing Solutions being a content marketing organization is, number one, it gives me some validity, right? I can go into an organization and say, here's what we've done that works. Having an internal case study is really, really powerful, especially because we're LinkedIn on LinkedIn. We're LinkedIn talking about how LinkedIn uses LinkedIn for marketing. It's very necessary to close that loop. But we also just have a great team. Jason Miller has done a fantastic job of hiring people and nurturing the talent within the organization and doing his homework and doing his research and taking the Sophisticated Marketers franchise and finding new ways to incorporate new ideas and new concepts into it, and then actually he's been really open and transparent about his approach and how it gets created and how it works, and trying to make other marketers successful using the same approach. So I love the marketing industry because we tend to share a lot and to learn from each other, and that's not always the case in every industry, right? So we actually get the benefit of being in a field where we can collaborate and learn, and I think Jason's contributed, and that whole team all over the world. We have really, really great creators and strategists. They've done a really great job of sharing that information.
If we look at the content marketing that you guys do, and also look at the funnel in some way for you,
yeah.
How does these types of content feed in? Is it some people talk about top of funnel, that most content is on top of funnels, some content is best for closing, etc. Do you have content that works better for where the buyer is in the funnel?
Yeah, we do top, middle, bottom. We do tofu, mofu, bofu. So that's top of funnel, middle of funnel, bottom of funnel. These are new terms that I've heard recently. And we measure each in different ways. So we have different metrics that we look at for top of funnel, blog subscribers and organic search and branded search terms and all that, and ranking and all that stuff. And we have metrics for middle of funnel. We have a lead gen engine, and then we have a nurturing engine, and then we have a sales dev team that qualifies. So we have MQLs and SQLs, and we have everything tied into CRM, and we measure opportunities and pipeline created and business generated and all that stuff. It's not a perfect system, but we do try to actually cover everything, right? Growing subscribers and growing an owned audience, but then also not just relying on that audience, but always trying to grow that and bring people into the process and all that stuff. Yeah.
So, I mean, Jason Miller is one that is a master in video. Like he's good on camera, and he's also creating a lot of video content that is inspire other content marketers to do content. How do you see video play into the content marketing field?
It's been a great medium for telling a story in a different way. It's been a bit of a trend, right? It's like, oh, everybody's doing video. Look at all the metrics around video and how great it does. But we have to remember it's just one medium for storytelling and getting a message across. And the great thing about video is that it can be long form or it can be short form. It's visual. It can be audio. It can be entertaining. It can be inspiring, and it should be all those things, right? It shouldn't be dull. It's kind of the nice thing about video is that it's meant to be exciting and engaging. What I like what I'm seeing in terms of video is that it's gotten cheaper. You no longer have to do a 30,000 USD production or a 300,000 krone production. It can be as simple as a digital SLR with great video capability, a tripod, some good lighting, and a nice mic, and you can get a lot done with that, you know, and a little bit of editing software. Like it can actually be quite scrappy, and it doesn't have to be perfect. I mean, look at all of the YouTube videos and the Instagram influencers and the stories. A lot of that is quite raw and unfiltered. I think companies have an opportunity to be a little bit less perfect with their video storytelling. A great produced video is still beautiful, but it doesn't always have to. It doesn't always have to be some like massively produced, edited, scripted thing. Sometimes it can just be kind of in the moment and short and unfiltered.
Awesome. I think I've covered all the ground, and this was great.
Okay.